My name is Sokonia Kaitano. I'm from Blue Chip Fisheries International, an aquaculture consultant company. As we heard about fish farming, it is really a business like any other business. But you cannot just treat it like something, but you treat it like you are treating business. You need to understand what the figures are like, what is required for you to start fish farming, how much do you need, and how much are you going to get after you have gone into that production. So this is the reason why I'm here today to present to you on the business case for fish farming. Right, to begin with, if you look to the figures, you need to consider the production plan first. When you are planning, you need to understand what are the requirements for you to go into fish farming. And if you look to the first columns, I've indicated that you need to consider about fingerlings. How many fingerlings do you want on the production capacity that you are looking at? I've tried to demonstrate about 4 models of different production capacities. Number 1 is the 400 kg model. Number 2 is 1000 kg model. Number 3 is 4000 kg model. Number 4 is about 10,000 kgs model. That's the type of harvest that you are looking at the end of your production. So how many fingerlings you need to stock in your infrastructure, a cage or whatever, for you to get 400 kgs. On the figures, you need about 1,925 fingerlings. We have put that number considering that fish are living things, they also die. And you need to understand that they die during transfer, they die during the adaptation process, they die during the fish husbandry process. So all that, we've considered a global survival of around 52%. That you lost about 48%. Will you make it? This is the reason why we have put the fingerlings much higher, so that when you are harvesting your target, you will get it. So if you look to it, you need 1,925 or 400 kgs. You need something like 4,810 fingerlings to produce 1,000 kgs of fish. You need also about 19,252 fingerlings to produce about 4,000 kgs of fish, and about 48,077 fingerlings to produce about 10,000 kgs of fish, which is about 10 tons. The reason buying fingerlings is much cheaper than losing fish when they've eaten a lot of your feed, which is much of the cost. So it's better to lose money in buying fingerlings. At the end, get your target. You don't lose much. So this is how you need to do your planning. Then you need to understand now that when you stock your fingerlings, you are going to lose about 65% when your fish are at the fingerlings stage, before they are at the juvenile stage. So when they are going at the juvenile stage, after, you need to consider that you have a survival of 65%, which means from 1,925 on the 400 kgs, you will be having about 1,251 fish. On the 1,000, you'll be having about 3,127. And on the 4,000, you are talking about 12,250, and you are talking about 31,291 after subtracting the 35% of mortalities, considering 65% survival. Then from the juvenile stage, fish won't die much, because they would have grown. So you are likely to have a survival of 80%. What does it mean? It means on that 400 kgs, you are going to remain with about 1,000 fish in your water body. You are going to remain about 2,500 fish in your water body. For the 1000 kg one, you are going to remain about 3,000 fish. On the 4,000, and are going to remain about 25,000 fish in your water body for the 10,000. So after that now, and you grow your fish to have a size of a BW 400 grams. That is the average body weight, which we call the table size. What does it mean? It means your biomass at harvest will be now 400 kgs, 1,000 kgs, 4,000 kgs, and 10,000 kgs. So you need to consider this on your planning. So what do you require for you to manage that production capacity that I've explained in terms of capex? You know, when you want to produce 400 kgs of fish growing to 400 grams ABW, you need a cage model of 18 cubic meter cage model, which costs you about $552 for you to have that cage. And for a 1,000 kg production cage, you need a 32 cubic meter cage model. That will cost you about $986. These are in US dollars. And if you want 4,000 kgs cage model, which is about 125 cubic meter, you are looking at $3,450 US dollars. And if you want to produce about 10,000 kgs of fish, you are looking at around 312 cubic meter of cage size, producing 400 grams ABW. So that one will cost you about $6,980 US dollars. So that's the kind of cost of the cage that will produce you the kind of harvest which I explained. On the figures now, you need now to consider the general operating expenses which I've indicated. As I said, I'm demonstrating the 4 models of production capacity, which is the 400, the 1,000, the 4,000, and the 10,000. On the 4,000, you need to understand how much feed do you want for you to produce 400 kgs of feed. You need about 600 kgs of feed. And I've used an FCR of 1.6 kgs, which means your feed for that is about $540 for you to manage 400 kgs. Then if you want to produce about 1,000 kgs of fish, you are looking at about 1,500 kgs of feed, which will cost you around 1,350 US dollars. If you want to produce something like 4,000 kgs of feed, you are looking around 6,000 kgs of feed, which will cost you about 13,500. So that will produce you the 4,000 kgs of fish. And if you want to produce about 10,000 kgs of fish, you are looking around 15,000 kgs of feed, which will cost you 13,500 US dollars. And this feed includes the starters up to the growers when you are now going for harvest. Then you need also to consider how much am I going to incur to buy the fingerlings in order for me to produce the kind of kgs that I want, or production that I want. The fingerlings will cost you, for the 400 kgs, will cost you around $73.15. $73.15, and the fingerlings for 1,000 kg production will cost you around $182.78, and the fingerlings for 4,000 kg production will cost you around $780.32, and the fingerlings for 10,000 kgs will cost you around $1,876. That's the kind of money you need to consider when you are doing your planning. Now, when you go there, as I said at the first, that when you are doing fish farming, don't forget that salt is a necessity. It's a product that you want to have each and every time on board. It helps you to reduce the stress for the fish. It helps you to kill bacteria, if any. It helps you to also heal some wounds when you are doing your fish husband practices. Therefore, you need to consider how much salt do I want when I want to produce something like 400 kgs. We have got an assumption of about 150 kgs of salt. That will cost you around $33. Then on the 1,000, you need something like 300 kgs of salt. That will cost you around $66. Then on the 4,000, about 500, which will cost about $110. And you for the 10,000, you need about 2,000, which will cost you around $440 only for the salt that you need to have. And this salt I'm talking is not just any salt, but I'm talking of coarse salt. If possible, get the non-iodized salt, which is better for the fish. Then you need also to consider issues to do with labor. Of course, this is business. No matter it's yourself or whoever, you need to consider the labor. So that's the kind of labor, and the labor depends on where you are. But I just put an assumption that on the 400 kgs, maybe you are looking on the labor cost of $400, on the 1,000, the same $400, on the 4,000 and the same $800. That is for a cycle of about 8 months. And on the 10,000, you are looking about 1,800 only for the labor cost. Then you need to check on the administrative cost, which I said is about 5% of all the total production cost. And you see that it will be $33, about $66, $332, about $780 only on the administrative side. Then other costs of other things that can happen. So consider all those things. That's the operating expenses that you are looking at when you are going into fish farming. That table now demonstrates the possible profit and loss for the 4 kind of models that I tried to demonstrate. On the sales, I've assumed that you are selling your fish at a retail price, the current one, which is at $3.50 per kg. And for 400 kgs, it means you are looking at 1,400 sales. For 1,000 kgs, you are looking at 3,500 sales. For 4,000 kgs, you are looking at 14,000 sales. And for 10,000 kgs, you are looking at $35,000 just on sales. Then we put the capex, which is the kgs, 532 for the 400 kg, 986 for the 1,000, 3,450 for the 4,000, 6,180 for the 10,000 kg operation. The operating expenses now, you have expenses on feed, which is 540, 1,350, 5,400, and 1,300, 13,500. Then for fingerlings, you've got 73.15, 182.78, 730.82, 1,826.90. For salt, you've got 33, 66, 110, and 440. For the labor, you've got 400, 400, 800, and 1,800. In administration, 33, 80, 312, and 782. Then others, that's 20, 60, 200, then 800, depending to the capacity that you are doing. So the total expenses, including the kgs, you know, on the 400 kg production, you are looking at $1,631.15. On the 1,000, you are looking at $3,124.78. On the 4,000 kgs, you are looking at $11,282. On the 10,000, you are looking at $26,134.93. So what does it mean? On the net profit, it means the one who is going for only 400 kgs, for him to manage, get profit, you get minus $231. There is no profit for the one who has got little production with about 400 kgs. Only because the other man, you have to pay the kgs and other operation costs. So on the first year, there is no profit. But on the second year, it means you won't buy the cage. You've got the cage already. It means that's when you start to get your little profit there. Then on the 1,000 kgs, you've got a net profit of $371.75.22 after paying all the kgs and the operational costs. And on the 4,000 kgs production, you are left with the $2,997.18 as net profit after paying the kgs and the operation costs. And on the 10,000 kgs, you are your net is $8,865.07 after paying all the kgs. This is only on the first cycle, meaning the second cycle is an advantage. So this business is about the volumes. When you put more volumes, you are likely to get good profit. But if you put less volumes, it means the profit is very little. This is now the real tilapia that you would have produced. Cage culture produces you this quality of bream. I think you can look to the image and you can see this is the real bream from the operation. Stocking densities are exciting and really commercial. The market demand is high worldwide when you go into cage culture. I would now compel you to make a decision not to fail fish on your table at least 3 times per week, because fish is a key food in our lives. Make a decision to look for a water body and go cage culture. The sky is the limit, because we've got plenty of those water bodies in our nation. Make a decision to feed the nation with enough fish. Make sure you are seeing every table in this nation having fish. Make a decision to create employment. Make a decision to raise income for your life and family.
So what's still on value addition? It is my take that pane zvese zvatinorima, pane zvese zvatinoita. If we start considering issue of value addition, that's when we start making a lot of money. Imagine ukarima nzungu nhasi, ukatengesa dziri musaga dzine makoko adzo, you won't make money. But ukadzitonongora ukagadzira dovi, that's when you realize a lot of money. The same, I can take a cue from munhu akatanga nokunopopa chibage chiya cheti mandeti mapeki tudiki tuyate, where you see mashops mandeti akapekwa to mashops. That alone, if you take 5 of those, you get an equivalent of a bucket. But in short, atikwanekana even a kg. But value yacho inenge almost a value a bucket 1. So my point is, let's all get into value addition. Let's think beyond what we're seeing now. Let's go beyond. And even my chickens, if you start putting my cutlets, you still make money. That will chicken. My advice today is, let's get into value addition. Start improving the value of the product that we do sell. Then we'll make a lot of money. Even with my forge, those who are selling my king's gate my shops, they are selling more than value kg as per pack. That's how we make money. So think beyond the borders. Think beyond the limit. You have to don't be limited in terms of the way we think. Let's look beyond Zatukita now and start doing value addition. The disadvantage we have as a country though is Wakaita Mari maybe never thought about it. Some people want to build a big machine, but if you go to the industry out there, then you start doing value addition. Any product will then revive our economy. It's all goes back to us. It starts with us. Hakuna mtu mmoja atenge kutipushira. Ndito kwanza uzvitatega. So pano whatever Zatukita now, let's think about value addition. Suppose you have 100 kgs of fish. If you had to sell them as whole round, you are likely to sell them at $250 US. That's the minimum price. That's at $2.50 per kg. If you start doing value addition, You are from 100 kgs, you get, if you are doing what we call skin on fillet, you get 40%, which is 40 kgs. Fillets are going for not less than $10 per kg. So say suppose you are selling them at $9 a kg, even $10 a kg. At $40 you get $400 from $100 from 100 kgs of fish. When you do value addition on fish, the only thing that you throw in a bin is the scales. That's the only thing that we don't use from the fish as products. The fish takes almost 25% of the body weight, which means if you have 100 kgs, you get 25 kgs of fish heads. They are going for $1 a kg. So you would have $25 from the fish heads. As for the frames, you get 11.5% from the fish, which is 11.5 kgs of frames from 100 kgs of fish. Then you get what we call belly flaps. Belly flaps is the belly part of it and the ribs. They'll take, you get 12% of from the whole weight of the fish. That's if you have 100 kgs of fish, you get 12 kgs of belly flaps. They are going for $3.20 a kg. Then we have what we call fillets. These are what we call the skin-on fillets. Skin-on fillet, you get 40% of the total weight as yield, which means if you have 100 kgs of fish, you get 40 kgs of skin-on fillets. If you are doing what we call skin-off fillets, it means you get 34% as yield. So in terms of, if you get the guts, that's the intestines, they would have fat, and the fat we use to we get fish oil out of the fat. So you boil the guts, stir the guts while we're boiling them, then you get fish oil out of the guts. So in terms of value addition, you make more if you start doing what we call value addition in any other product. In fact, that's what our country is lacking on, the issue of value addition. We do farming, we do farm a lot of products. Take for instance, we do soya, maize, and quite a number of things, even sunflowers. We export maybe to South Africa and other countries. Then we in turn go back and buy cooking oil from those countries. So what we need to do is we need to move on to the issue of value addition. That's where we start making more money in any other product. So in terms of fish, in fish, if you do value addition in fish, you make more money than selling the raw fish as a raw fish. Also, the fish itself, before you start doing value addition, it's 100% in terms of weight. So if you take off the guts, the intestines, you take off, you lose 6% that goes to the guts. That's from the total weight, which means after gutting, you are left with 94%. That fish, you already have started adding value to that fish. So it's either raw gutted, frozen, or you do the fillets, then you make money from value addition.